Hey guys, Darren Kelly here, coach of Wise Ocean Pods, and welcome back to another episode of my team review. Today we'll be reviewing round 21, where my team went pretty well this week. So had a 24-56. I think it was just one of those rounds where a lot of the poorer coaches, the poorer teams, just really popped up. Just got a bit lucky where we saw a lot of people that were trading, up the top end, just had pretty poor rounds. Just given, that's just what happens sometimes. Is this time of year, the people that you expect to go pretty poorly end up doing really well, and you end up trading them out, and you end up losing points. So that's where I classify my team in at this point. But had the best round so far this season, 24-56, round rank of 2400 ish, which is by far the best round rank I've had all season. Jumped up over 1,000 spots in the overall, but that doesn't really matter at this point in time of the season. Just finishing strong, which is nice to see. But we'll go through sort of line by line, just discussing some players who I think want to be trading out and who whatnot. So, Lockie Whitfield still standing strong, by far the easiest player you can look at. Even in a tough matchup, he ended up putting up a 137. He just absolutely killing it, and they just love giving it to him. So, it is just amazing what he's been able to do. What the last four, particularly, he's gone over 120 every single time and put up a couple 130s there. So really awesome to see. He's going to be a huge captain option coming to finish the season. However, they do have quite a tough run to finish, so maybe one you got to be wary of. That's for sure. Maybe it's more of a VC range, just given the tough matchups to come. But he should be pretty good there. So if you don't have him, you're paying a lot now. He could be close to 1.1 mil, which is something I don't think we've seen so far ever in the history. So be interesting to see. But yeah, he is just awesome at the moment. Nick Martin at number 2 there, disappointing. Back-to-back 80s, mid-80s, and one that probably you need to look at going. Looking at this though already, I'm probably not looking at that this week, just given that he has the Suns, where we have seen a lot of designated kick-out players or just regular defenders that just rack up back there. Obviously talking about Midfield and a few others that absolutely just smack it. So I'd absolutely be grabbing him if you can. Not grabbing him, sorry, just holding him for this week. I think he'll be pretty good. But then the last two then is definitely a possibility of trading out, which is I think is a lot of the same for a lot of defenders. Same with the two Freo players, which I think a lot of people have already jumped off already. They've got Giants and Port Adelaide to finish, so could be a bit of a defender trade next week, I'm thinking, after the final two good matchups, and then trading them out to someone else. So really disappointing with him, but I think I'm going to hold with him. Stewart just continued on his 107, not as big as what he has been going at, but definitely did the job like I sort of expected. Just an average sort of 100. That's why I didn't really expect too much from him as a captain. I'm really happy with that. He should be pretty good to finish off the season. He's got two really good matchups to finish. Freo, a little bit tougher, but I think he'll be good there anyway. He's just absolute god when he's in the mid there. Just racking up in the back line too. Two Freo boys got a job done. Young Clark was a little bit disappointing again. 93, especially with when Luke Ryan went, I think 120 or something like that. He just waxed back there, which unfortunate for anyone that did trade him out, but he had to go. He hadn't shown anything for a little while. Same on Clarkey. You're probably not too disappointed if you did trade him out. I'm probably again holding him this week against the Cats. I think he should be okay there as the distributing halfbacker. I just, again, who are you trading him to? I know the likes of Nick Newman and Sinclair went big on the weekend, so that's probably where I really lacked a lot of points this weekend. Just not having those two, who are a bit more unique, went both, I think, 130 something ish. So I think Nick Newman went 145 and Sinclair went 130 ish. So yeah, not having those two really lost me a fair bit of points, but yeah, they're fairly unique. Trent Rivers did okay. I was really happy to see he bounced back in that second half against the Bulldogs. I think he was on like 31 points at the half and had a really poor second quarter. But yeah, definitely came back in that third quarter where he went on and had 50 points or something like that and finished strong. Did that 101. Not hurting me at the moment, so I'll probably just end up holding him through the rest of the season. Tough again this week, but finishes pretty strong with two easier matchups. So I'll probably just hold him for the rest of the season. Already spoke about Hayden Young. Again, I'd be holding him this week just with an easy matchup. We know how good the Cats are at giving points to the midfielders, so he should go well again there. I'm not expecting anything amazing. Don't be expecting 120s or anything like that. Just expecting to sort of hit three figures, if not get very close to that, and not going to hurt you at the end of the day. So I'm happy with him there. So yeah, I'll get into my trades a little bit later, but there's definitely some possibility that I do look to change a few things in the back line, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Onto the midfield. Midfield actually played really well this week, and it shows you last week that they went horribly. This week they went really well, and I literally changed one thing, and that one thing didn't really even do much benefit for me at all. So, Bontempelli 135. Didn't really expect him to go that big in this game, but yeah, definitely would have been a good VC option. Kind of hurt me. I wish I kind of put him in my captain segment, but didn't have the confidence in him that's showing his last sort of 4 weeks. He hadn't really gone over a ton, anything crazy. Even in good matchups, he hasn't really hit that. And yeah, it's just classic Bont. He pops up for these big games sometimes, and yeah, it's really hard to predict at this point. But yeah, really happy to see him bounce back. Hopefully, he can continue for the rest of the season. Does have a few tougher matchups. I will say these last two again. Against the Crows might be too bad, but they are in some decent form, so we'll have to wait and see. The two Port boys, I'll put them both together. Absolutely, probably got kissed there with a lot of people who were looking to trade him out because Sydney are a tough matchup, but Sydney didn't show up. They got smacked by over 110 points or something like that, 112 I think they won by. So they just didn't show up in this game, and that just shows that you got to show up in any game. And yeah, got kissed there with having both of them both going over 125, and yeah, really happy with both of them. And honestly, decent run to finish off the season, so I'll probably be looking to hold them for the rest of the season, unfortunately. And that's probably the thought process behind why I held the likes of Butters, particularly. Knowing that I thought he was going to get tagged in this game, just thought I'll stick through the pain and finish off the season with him because he does have a decent run. And that ended up working out really well, just given that he didn't cop any attention really, and yeah, Swans didn't show up. Same with Rosie. Yeah, really happy with them. Jack Steele continued his ton run. Nothing amazing with a 108, but yeah, got the job done against the tougher Brisbane Lions. He has a really good 2 weeks coming up against the Richmond and Cats. So yeah, I think he'll be pretty good and definitely probably a target if you don't have him already. He could definitely put up some decent scores against them. Just doing it across all stat lines, like it's not absolutely demolishing in terms of disposals, like low sort of 20 disposals, but hitting a lot of marks and a lot of tackles as you would expect from Jack Steele there. So yeah, only thing else he can really add to is hitting on the scoreboard, which he has hit in the last couple of weeks. So do expect a few more ceiling scores to finish off the season for him. Zachy Merritt bounced back after a pretty poor sort of month, really, which I think is a pretty common theme across this week, where we even saw, we'll get into a little bit later, Walshy bounced back as well. So it's good to just tap back in the boys sometimes. The tide always does turn. They're just superstars of the competition, so they do bounce back eventually. They just have a lapse in form. And sometimes it's just unfortunate that people do trade them out at the wrong time. Like I know people did trade out a Merritt, people did trade out a Walsh last week, so that just really hurts. Like you're trading out people that have going above 110, and unlikely you've gone to someone that's much better. Like I know a lot of people went to Trelaw last week, and he only went 116, so you probably ended up losing points on that trade. But maybe you put the VC on him and got the double anyway. So, but happy to see Merritt there. Again, tougher 2 matchups to come. This one, I'm happy to keep him because that should be a decent matchup. I just can't trade him out. Honestly, it's probably a bit of a bias here. I did start with him all season, and probably just want him on the end of the season trip. But he's just one of those consistent guys that have been good all year. Probably hasn't shown the ceiling as much this year as he has in the last, just with a few of his colleagues just sort of jumping up, like Caldwell, and Parrish has been in and out of the side, but he's hit the ceilings a few times. But yeah, I still like Merritt to finish off the season. Then we probably should jump into my trade review. Did okay, I guess. So jumped off for Tom Green, who only put up an 84. Was happy with that. He didn't hurt me too much. And honestly, to finish off the season, I'm happy to be off of him for that. And traded off Logan Evans, who went to 54. So overall, happy with the trade outs. Probably just the trade ins that didn't really set a light to me. Noah Anderson only the 98 there, which probably leads into my negative 3, honestly, which is just the Gold Coast Suns, unfortunately. How do you lose that game against West Coast? It's just shocking to think that you're 12 years into your football club's history, and you're still dropping games against the lowest pretty much team of the competition. I still classify them as pretty much the lowest, even though Richmond are at this point in time, and North are not too far in front of them. So that's just really poor. And they should be pushing into finals. They got the team, they got the talent for it. They're just shocking. How do they get that done? They've got a good coach now. It's just shocking. And yeah, probably loop both Flanders and Anderson. They should have both walked up with a 110, 120 in this game, and they just both didn't really get there. He's honestly, Anderson's score got saved with a goal that probably shouldn't have been. 0 tackles is very poor. That is just shocking. So hopefully you can reward me to the end of the season. I am still going to hold him with that good run. He just needs to bounce back in form and start hitting some of these ceiling scores, which we can see from him. He's popped plenty of 140s throughout the season. Just would like to see one of them to finish off. So yeah, it looks like lockout has lifted, so that is good. Probably should go back then, eh? Sorry guys, I am doing this a bit earlier than I would usually, but yeah, hopefully that's good. Well, she backs back with 130. Really happy with him there. Not much really too much to say. Tough matchup this week against the Hawks. Pretty much do or die matchup between the Hawks and Colton, who's pretty much ever wins, I think, makes finals. So expect Walshy to cop a bit of attention from a Nash. So I probably wouldn't be VCing him or seeing him at any point this week, and I probably wouldn't be bringing him in. But for these last 2 matchups, it's definitely something you should be considering. And finish off the midfield, 92 from a Sarong. Disappointing, must say, disappointing. Easy matchup, just didn't really show up. Got a bit of attention in this game from like a Caldwell. I think just kept him pretty quiet, but still had 32 disposals. Just didn't really get those marks, which is really common what we see from a Sarong. Just low amount of marks and tackles throughout his entire season. Realistically, pops up for a few good games, but yeah, not doing what he was at the start of the season, where he was getting half a dozen marks here and there. So really disappointing. Again, probably could look at trading him out the last 2 games, but definitely looking to hold him this week. On to the midfield, and my +3 has to go to Cherry. I backed him again this week with with the VC and got with the C and got the 150, and honestly it could have been bigger. He was on fire through the second and third quarter, and sort of started slow in the first quarter. Only had 23 points to finish at the quarter time. I swear they weren't counting his tackles, because I swear he had 2 or 3 tackles in that first quarter, and just didn't go into the database. So I was a bit pissed off at quarter time, where he was only on 23 points, but he absolutely dominated the second and third quarter, where he was on, I think, 119 at 3/4 time, and I was sitting happy then, thinking, what could this possibly be? And I think he was on 149 with 10 minutes still to go in the quarter, and yeah, he had a poor last 10 minutes, just couldn't get around the ball, where I think Richmond was starting to get a bit on top and run across the ground, and yeah, just couldn't get around it. So happy with 150, especially the one. I think that was the highest score of the round, so you got to be happy with that. That's back to back, and what my season could have been if I started with him. Honestly, I'm glad it's paying off now, where I can say he's been averaging 153 for me in the last 2 weeks, especially being both captained back to back. So happy to say that, and it's not going to slow down any point in time. But yeah, season's too far gone at this point in time. English, disappointing. I probably could have got my -3, honestly, but he's probably more likely going for me. I think Marshall's probably the easiest #1 target this week. His run is just unreal to finish off the season, and the fact that he's gone back to back 130s against 2 tough matchups, that is just a red herring, honestly. That he's going to go massive in the last 3 games, where 150s, 160s are not off the table, so he will be a massive captain option in the last couple rounds for sure. So I'll definitely be grabbing him this week. It's just how I get that done in my trades, which I'll get into a little bit later. To finish off, we're looking at the forward line. Forward line was a little bit disappointing, particularly Kerno, 51. Of course, the game I bring him in, he has his first game where he doesn't hit the scoreboard, which is unreal. That's just my luck this year. Hit the 2 behinds, only had the 9 disposals, 5 marks, 2 tackles, just really didn't get involved at all. Darcy Moore just had him in his back pocket the entire game, so pretty disappointing. Particularly the fact that I had Mana on the bench and I could have looped him on. I just sort of backed Kerner to sort of match him, if not go better, with a good matchup. And seeing the history against the Pies, like we had Chol who kicked 3 goals too against the likes of Dylan Moore. So I thought surely Kerner gets a decent run here at it, and unfortunately just didn't show up. So that hurt me a little bit. Lost 21 points there, which could have made it a much bigger weekend. Even if I could have even gone elsewhere with the trade as well, like I could have gone to a Peatling, or I could have gone to a Philippou, which probably we'll talk about this a little bit more in the other videos, but Philippou will more than likely be coming into my side this week with that good run and his good role. So he is a massive target. But really, not really much to talk about in terms of the forward line. Like Zorko was okay, like pretty standard. Didn't have a massive ceiling score like you would sort of expect against Saints, but did say that in the captain video that there wasn't some massive scores against Saints recently in terms of defense. So to get 105, you're pretty happy with that. Caldwell bounced back with 116. Really happy the fact that I can hold him probably for the remainder of the season. Heaney, no Brownlow, no Heaney. He just does not care at this point in time and really isn't showing up. And yeah, and it's showing in the Sydney Swans performance. Honestly, they are just not firing at this minute. Losing the last 4 or 5 or something like that. So he is something to worry about. But his run is pretty decent to finish off the season. So I just think you hold him. I don't think it's too much of a concern. And the Simcom 80, you take that. Would have liked something a bit bigger, but he had a quiet second quarter. I think he was only on like 37 points at half time. So to get to an 80, I'm happy with. It's not the greatest, but definitely better than a lot of the others that we're seeing, like a Myers and stuff. So I already went through my plus 3s and negative 3s. Went through the captains. Obviously, Flanders was really disappointing, but I'm happy to get in the cherry 150. And then trade review, like I said, could have been a lot better with a few different trades. Like definitely could have traded in a Nick Newman, who I was pretty hot on, just couldn't really justify it when I really wanted Noah Anderson just for that better run. So I guess it probably goes to show that Newman was probably in a better form, so probably should have been more of a flag to go with him rather than a Noah Anderson, because there's no reason why I couldn't grab Anderson this week, whereas a Newman, like, do I really want to grab Newman this week? He doesn't have the greatest run to finish off. Like, it's still pretty good, but it's not like it's amazing. He's got Hawthorn this week, so they've been pretty tough, but we did see Lockie Whitfield go pretty decent against them this week with a 137, so not the worst thing in the world. But we'll just quickly finish off with what my trades are going to be this week. So now that lockout has happened, which is perfect timing, I can sort of show you what my trades are going to be like. So definitely going to get Marshall this week. That's pretty much locked in. It's just how I'm going to get that done. So that's going to cost me about 120k. I only had the 30k in the bank, so I need 88k to find. So there is a world. So I could either go Dowling down. I think his time's done, so I can just bank sort of 200k, or I could go like a Kerno. I know I just created in Kerno, but there's a world I could just go Kerno to a Philippou. If I grab him, that leaves me 57k, and that could improve both my lines. I think I do want Charlie Kerno to finish off the year, because we just saw what's his name, Hogan go 110 against the Hawks this week. So Kerno could go pretty big, but he does have Mackay there as well. And the fact that now he is behind in the common race, particularly these last 2, are going to be pretty massive, I think. So I do want to be on him for these 2 games, but at the end of the day, if this is going to improve my side, particularly this week, then there's something that I may do. But I'll see throughout the week if there's something more creative I can do to improve my side. I do particularly want to move off a couple of these rookies, just cash them out. I don't want to finish them off in the season, so still have Humphreys there, still have Mana and Dowling, so want to try and cash them out as much as possible. A few of the others I don't care. Like, I'm not going to trade Pink out at this point. Sean Mack probably going to stay, and then just looking at next week's trades evens, I'll probably look at trading a couple defenders out that have tougher runs to finish off, so like Nick Martin or Jordan Clark as such, or Hayden Young. So just thinking about something forward, but for now we'll lock this in. Just for video purposes. And yeah, that would be a pretty decent side, I think. And Marshall becomes my number one R1 there. But yeah, that could be a very big possibility. But we'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, that's my team review. Pretty happy with the week. But yeah, just finishing strong, and hopefully we can continue this. And what can we shoot for? I don't know. I don't know what we can do. Just really focusing on league matchups at this point in time. Just trying to, finish strong and yeah, trying to get the dub there. So, but yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.